The moment I get out of class, I hurry back to my room, feeling super self-conscious and paranoid. I honestly don't know how I dragged myself out of bed this morning. The thought of that creep being out there spying on me makes my blood run cold. Stubborn defiance was what it was, I guess. I've resolved not to let this get to me in any way. I won't be able to crack this guy's operation here otherwise. Yeah, no, just the other day I didn't care about anything that had to do with the disappearances, which makes it funny and kind of sad that the only reason I did start to care was the threat of being next. I take a deep breath from that chilling thought. Is this really serious? I still cling on to the possibility of it all being an awful, stupid joke, but I can't play it safe. I have to take some initiative. The first thing I do when I get back to the room is close the blinds again. It's pretty unnecessary seeing how we're on the highest floors, but it gives me a little peace of mind at least. Chandra probably wouldn't like it, but she isn't here right now. I can just reopen them when she comes back in a few hours. Next, I pull up my laptop and curl up next to it on my bed. My first impulse is to log onto the usual sites I idle on, but I stop myself. I have to look up more info on the disappearances. Anything I learn will help. You'd think something so concerning would have more coverage, but the most information I can find happens to be from local news sites. 3 girls disappeared, but I already knew that. Oh, but it looks like the disappearances happened over a span of a year. 1 in December last year, 1 in April, and last in August. That was right before the semester started. Wow. Alicia Henrik, Erin Sverson, and Yuli Shares were their 3 victims. Oh, and for their specific articles, there are links at the bottom. Nice. I scroll down and click the first one on the list and the disappearances that happened last December. Erin Sverson, 19 years old at the time of the incident. She was second year when it happened and pretty active at our school's track team. It's true, searching for her name brings up a whole bunch of sports articles. Dang, she won a lot of races. Looks like she was mostly a sprinter for the 200-meter dash. But it looks like she was noticed to be missing near the end of the fall semester. They searched for about 3 days and eventually found her unconscious in the park wearing her usual tracksuit. No signs of assault or harmful substances found either, but there were traces of narcotics as well as a faint hint of some unknown opioid. This just sounds like Jeff. But watch it be Ted, because Ted knows Jeff. Whatever that means. When questioned, Erin couldn't seem to remember anything from the day she had gone missing. How strange. I can't imagine having just this big gap of time where I can't remember anything that happened. But okay, next girl, let's read about the disappearances that happened near the start of the year. Alicia Henrik was a victim at that time, older than Erin at 21, which means she was on her 3rd year. Looks like she was a chemistry student in the chemistry club and our school's honor society too. She must have been really smart to be involved in all that. Then yeah. She was found in the library after being reported missing for 3 days. They thought she was asleep at first, but it turns out she was literally unconscious. Same thing as Erin. Alicia couldn't remember anything that had happened from the time she disappeared. There were also traces of both a narcotic and an unknown opioid found in her bloodstream. Second time those 2 terms have come up now. A narcotic is like something that puts you to sleep, I think, and I've heard of an opioid before. I think they're painkillers. I make a note to look that up for the sure, then click on the last article about Yuli Shears. This was the disappearance that happened in August. She was 18 about to be a 2nd year here at school. There isn't much about her school-wise, but it seems as though she volunteered in local shelters around town often. They even have testimonials from her co-workers there. It's the same as the other girl. She went missing for 3 days and popped up somewhere unconscious and with the same drug traces, only this time she was found beside the disco pub in town. That's a little sleazy, which is weird since she doesn't sound like the kind of girl. She was apparently still wearing the same clothes she had been seen in the day she'd gone missing, and likewise couldn't remember a thing about that day. And it looks like that's all the info there is out there. On that. I bite my thumb as I think this over. Okay, similarities. There have to be some. Let's see, all 3 girls went missing for the same amount of time, 3 days. None of them seemed hurt, but all 3 of them had traces of narcotic and opioid in their bloodstream. Besides that, they're all pretty different. They probably ran in different circles, had different interests too. Yet the abductor chose to kidnap them for a reason. Now they're apparently after me. I feel hollow at the thought, even if I've accepted that this is happening. That doesn't mean I'm okay with it. There has to be something I can do. Maybe if I find out more about these girls and what they did, I can figure out exactly how they were taken. Kind of a stretch, but that's all I have to go off of right now. Let out a heavy breath and smack my cheeks a few times. Alright, that's enough depressing stuff for now. As much as I don't feel like doing, I have things to study and go over for school. But as I'm about to get ready for that, I realize something really stupid. Wait, did I have a Flype open all this time? Oh, that's right, I have it set to log me in automatically whenever I turn on my laptop. I must be seriously out of it. The whole situation must have shaken me up more than I thought. At least a ton of people didn't message me while I was distracted. Just Darren did. Hello, Nicole. I was wondering if you finished reading for anthropology. Or maybe it's Darren. Right. We were assigned page number numbers to read for the next class. I quickly type back a reply. I don't want him thinking I'm ignoring him. Sorry, Darren, I totally forgot. Was in the middle of something. In typical Darren fashion, he starts to respond right away, even though I left him hanging for about 20 minutes. He's always so on top of things, geez. Am I disturbing you? No. I don't know how many times I have to type for him to get the point. I was just, well, reading something, but not the anther stuff. You know about those weird disappearances that have been happening, right? You were reading about those? Yep, I was looking into them. How odd, you never seem to be that interested in them. Well, I am now, okay? But I'm done reading about them. I'll get started with the anthro. Do you need help on something, or... There's this part I don't understand, but I'll ask when you're finished reading. I also want to make sure that you remembered to read it too, and this was my way of checking. Oh my god, okay, Mom, I'm doing my homework now. When will dinner be ready? You'll have to stay in your room with that attitude. Get out. I'm not in your room. I groan and try to stop myself from smirking. I hate how witty Darren can be online. It can be hard to keep up with him. It's way different from how quiet he is in person, but you learn to adapt to it all after a while. Oh, Darren. Darren! This could be a good chance to ask Darren about something that's been on my mind. If anyone would have an answer, it would definitely be him. Is there a way to find out who's been visiting your blog on Roller? I'm not sure, but I think so. Why do you need it? What do I say? No real reason. I just think I might have some kidnapper after me? That's definitely reassuring. I'm just curious to see. I want to know if I have any obsessed fans since I'm so popular. How very humble of you. There are several visitor trackers you can use. Some can even be hidden so they have no idea you're breaching their privacy. Shut up. I'm not going to use this to stalk them. Can you show me how to do this? Where do I even get started? I'll try to find a suitable one. You should start with the reading in the meantime. It isn't long, but it can be complicated at parts. I'll ignore that you're bossing me around since you're being totally awesome and finding it for me. Thanks. Not a problem. Give me a few minutes. Darren presumably gets on that, and I stretch over the head of my bed to grab my textbook on my desk. Awesome. If I get this tracker thing working, I should be able to get some dirt on the abductor if they ever bother me again. Thank God I'm friends with Darren. It pays to have someone good at all this coding stuff to help. My attention jumps from my textbook to the computer screen every so often to check if Darren's gotten back to me yet. I get about halfway through before I finally hear back from him. I found something that I think will work. I don't use one of these, so I'll allow you to find out for yourself. He pastes a link into our chat and leads to a visitor tracking widget like he said. Oh, cool. There are instructions there, but I'll walk you through the process just to be sure. Thanks. Okay, so I copy the code it shows and I have to paste it somewhere on Roller. Yes, you'll have to edit your HTML, but first you'll have to make an account on the website. All right, let me do that first. The procedure probably shouldn't take as long as it does, but I eventually get the widget on my blog and working. I'm on it. Do you see a change? I refresh the page where all my tracks and hits should show up, and I see that it's registered someone. That must be Darren. It works. I get your IP address and your location. Time and date, too. I was kind of hoping you'd give out identity also, but that's kind of illegal. Extremely so. But I'm glad it was a success. Many people use a visitor tracker nowadays. I'm sure it'll come in handy for something. Like tracking creeps, I think to myself. I should get back to reading. You are still not finished? I got distracted by this. That's fine. Please continue. I'll be here when you're finished. I smile as I look back down to the book. I'm starting to feel a little tiny bit better after this, thanks to Darren's help. Now I have a surefire weapon to use against the abductor. But I still shouldn't forget to find out more about these girls. Maybe asking around their usual spots should work. Anything I find out will do. Alone ending unlocked. I lay brisk at the doors of the class building, and the moment I'm done with my final battle, I'm free. I'm free. I'm officially completed my first college semester ever. I'm so giddy that I want to jump. It should not be. I was totally with Ted. But there's so many people around to that I have to pretend I have at least some shame. None of my tests were ever that hard. I'm feeling pretty good about this. And it says I think I have to be with someone to, like, a good ending. I can head out for Christmas break without worrying about my dumb grades, but I won't be heading back to California for a few days. For now, I'll just kick back and relax the best I can. Yeah, it's not true. Nothing eventful happened my first semester away from college, but I figure this just comes with the territory. It'll be spring semester soon enough, and with that, a new year. I'm sure things will look up from this point on. I have a good feeling about it. Really? That's all I get as an ending? Really? Really? Really?